Good morning, and a very warm welcome for this last session. Joining here from the office, and we will be sharing details of follow-up of the 3-day follow-up starting next Friday. This aspect yesterday about staying in the honor of the guest. I like this quote by Peter Drucker. He said, "The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it is to act with yesterday's logic." So we may be seeing turbulence as the host, this physical world, is giving signals to the guest. The map of the mind that we saw yesterday, that each false identity invites its own fall. So pride is the cause of the fall, and we understand through spiritual insight that this is turbulence, but use the logic that is fit for this time. And beautifully put by Swami Vivekananda as a recipe for success, which we can apply in this. He said, take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea, and let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea, and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. So if we want to experience, but also be clear and understand the invisible traveler perspective and apply it, it'll be bringing this success and the honor back to the guest. So be happy to hear what's been coming up for you, and we'll be first of all welcoming back Vishad. Good morning.
Hello and welcome back. It is the last day of these 7 days. And congratulations for being able to continue with this marathon. And hopefully you enjoyed the process. It is good to build on. That momentum has its own beauty. And I will quickly revise some of the things we have touched so far. Of course, we'll use the board. So what we are seeing here, we started our discussion with the subject of becoming dependent on an unpredictable world. This is the only factor where we need to be aware of. The whole chaos in the world is because of this dependency. We showed that dependency symbolically by this downward spiral. The word attachment is used for the same thing. Bondage, these different words are used, but it is like becoming dependent. We start using the word my, and then we also saw later that we use the letter I in this foreign world. That world is not in our control, and we have an exit without our permission, and we become completely confused. And we use the language of Patthar intellect, stone intellect. And in this intellect, you don't even know that you don't know. Some blatant mistakes something that is so obvious, we can't see the contradictions and suffer as a result. In that journey, in that direction, we saw that we create within ourselves the victim mentality and the beggar mentality. We create the slave mentality. We become dependent on everything and everyone around. And the demon mentality, Ravan. Sorrow, giving sorrow, anything is possible. We saw that as not normal, that is bizarre situation we find ourselves in. We also saw that making a little effort to come out of this dependency, we discover within ourselves divine. This victim and beggar is not compulsory. We discover that space where we are secure, completely secure. We discover within ourselves the experience of starting, resting. Our state is of happiness and contentment. We don't need to grab things in that foreign world to be content. Our starting position is of happiness, of peace, of contentment. We are loving beings. We are naturally positive. And we saw it, and we are just guests in this world. That was very important for us to know that we are just passing through. We saw that this department of bondage, it goes to the extreme where we go into defining ourselves based upon that foreign world, and that department gets bigger and bigger, and they are so stubborn. They want to get, the ego itself wants to get bigger, and we are totally entrenched with the Patthar intellect where you don't question even. So in such a world, we are seeing the contrast, and we are bringing light in this and understanding what has happened to man. And we are reversing the process. Every minute you are creating time for this, you are progressing. To be carefree about it. You create 1 minute, you create half an hour, congratulate yourself. It is growing. Internally it is growing. It will have its results. We saw if we were to take the selfie photograph of the soul, you will see a picture like this. If the soul, when he is clean, when he is pure, the same soul, when he is impure, when he gets into these bondages, he is having so much alloy within him. It is, and all of this brings penalties. We understand the reason for misfortunes, reason for sorrows in the world, and it is not compulsory. Every time you are creating this time for yourself, making effort, you are bringing about this change, transformation. And as that happens, the reversal happens internally. Deeper purification happens. The soul is purified. We saw yesterday the subject of Vinash forces, where the penalties for different reasons. And we also saw that we have the option to change this. We learn through wisdom or we learn through pain. pain is not the only option, but we learn through wisdom. Just in that context of yesterday's subject, just want to add one more area. in Cambridge, one sociology professor by name Giddens, you might come across this name, Anthony Giddens. And he says, if you see the history of Europe of the last 500 years, you see one very interesting pattern. And what is the pattern? He says every 50 years, maybe around 50 years. So every 50 years, there is destruction. So some kind of chaos happens, either there is a natural calamity or some kind of epidemic, or someone goes mad and declares a war. So every 50 years, he says there is a destruction, followed by a period of peace. And he also says people forget the message of pain very, very quickly. The moment peace starts, they forget the message of pain. They do the same mistake over again. And he sees this pattern, over 500 years period. Now, how do you explain this? What exactly is happening? Seen from what we have discussed so far, we can say there is, our Vinash forces are there. That is the main reason. Everyone, we are talking here collectively. People have got these Vinash forces. And then we, of course, settle the accounts individually. That is happening. But now and then there is collective settlement. All these Vinash forces come into our lives, in a collective way. That's why there is some kind of a natural calamity. And say if there is a natural calamity, at one time, half the population of Europe was killed by an epidemic. Sometimes things like this. So these natural calamities come, some Vinash forces come. Some may die, but even those who are alive, it is suffering for them also. They have to deal with that. Everyone gets their own kind of Vinash forces. So they are purified to some level at the end of all this chaos. And then once it is all settled, there is some purification internally. The souls are purified. Then the next phase starts. They are all there. And what happens next? The party starts. Party starts. Whose party? Ravan's party starts. Ravan is now back into action. And Ravan is busy feeding himself. And creates another pile of Vinash forces. And after 50 years, there is another clearance happens. And so this is if you go to the blueprint, you see what is happening externally. Externally, these destructions happen, and the calamities happen, but there is a deeper reason for this. And deeper reason is the Vinash force is created by the individuals. Now let us see today, what has happened today. Since Second World War, apart from this short period of COVID-19, since Second World War, what do you see? What has happened? If you look at a blueprint, how do you see this world since Second World War? Do you want to tell? Since 1945, what has happened to this planet Earth?
Someone's written, there's not been a big reset. Someone else, there have been a lot of wars, maybe smaller wars. Population has increased like, I don't know how many fold, doubled since 1974. Disasters seem to happen more often in recent years.
Sure. Along with all this, what has also happened, if you see objectively, you will see that indulgence has taken a form which was never seen in history. Indulgence of all kinds at all levels. Science is helping, technology is helping, prosperity is helping, freedom is helping. So at a deep level, all that technology and science is used by Ravan, all the different heads of Ravan. The indulgence is seen on a scale never seen in history. This is what you will see if you are to see the history of the world. As an example, in the past, if you want to listen to music, there is sometimes when the musicians come, when there's a concert, you listen to music. Today, someone can listen to music 24 hours if he wants. It is like he can listen to music and have coffee all the time, and he can indulge on a scale never seen in history. At a click of the button, you just need to click and he can get what he wants to see. Ravan's party. Now, what does it all mean? There is not, the spirituality, search for spirituality is very superficial. Large majority is in a different direction. It also means all these hates of Ravan have gone bigger and bigger. And as they get bigger, Vinash forces are bigger. Pile of Vinash forces, 8 billion souls, are all over the world. As was said, even during the pandemic, and even if there is some war going on, indulgence is not compromised. That is happening all along. They are still importing, the foreign goods, even when there is a disaster. So this is a large majority. Now, this is not going to just stay there, Vinash forces. These Vinash forces will act. And that means a big clearance of this planet. 8 billion, and they all are busy creating Vinash forces. It is a race against time. If we are to learn through wisdom, that option is there always. It means I have to undo these Vinash forces, undo this ego before it is too late. If that is what I want to learn through wisdom, then it will mean I have to nourish this soul consciousness. Understanding is one step. We have understood, but then we have to create our time to bring about a change. We have to remove these false identities within us. Those old, deep patterns that are there, they have to be removed. They have to be dismantled. Some concern, we need to have some concern about this, how to do this. Reason says that 8 billion are not going to do this. But even here, even if 80 are doing it, that's a great news. Because ultimately it is at an individual level. If they are doing effort, they become free from their Vinash forces. That's the great news. And even if situations come, different people receive exactly according to their blueprint. Nothing comes beyond the blueprint. This knowledge says this. Say there is sometimes an accident, 4 people, they all get different things depending upon their blueprint. If there are no Vinash forces, you don't get anything. That's why you get all these examples. Sometimes suddenly unhurt. Someone comes out of some situation unhurt. There are reasons behind this. But it also means there are people who are not going to bring about change. And for that, the blueprint says we are going to see some big drama in the very near future, because Vinash forces are increasing. They have already increased and people are still feeding them further. But it also is telling us that there are enough people who are bringing about change in them in a different way. There are enough number of people who are nourishing soul consciousness, and they deserve different forces. They invite forces of honor towards them. They become lucky in a big way. This is a change at a deep level, and it has its reward at an extraordinary way. And this transformation, they become lucky. They create new world. So the knowledge here says there will be destruction. There will be Third World War also. The blueprint says that this is the way we have prepared ourselves. But there is also the seed of the golden age of mankind. So that is also to happen. There is never annihilation. There is no end, but big transformation. This we will be taking this subject in more detail another time, but just completing the subject of Vinash forces. And Sarah, want to add anything? Any comments?
Many love to know the future, but the answer here, if we want to know the future, see the blueprint. It's forewarned is what's it? Forewarned is forearmed, isn't it? And we working at the blueprint within the self. We can only ever do that, and at least show a different way of handling. Question: could you explain the word indulgence exactly in the context with which it's being used here? What do you mean by indulgence?
Yeah, sure. We are using that word for Ravan's pleasures. That is the way we are using. Ravan likes coffee. Yes, coffee. Ravan likes these hits. And some people use this language. They had a coffee. What next? Then maybe video. Okay, what next? Maybe eat something, chewing gum. Some cheap pleasures of Ravan. And lust is another area of Ravan's department. Or listen to some praise, someone praising your shoes and praising your hat. And all of this is indulgence that feeds Ravan, that feeds all these hates that we saw here. And it has its own Vinash forces.
In life that we live today, we're told you only live once, and all of these small things are seen to be treasures in a sense, in that thinking. So it's such a beautiful opportunity when we get the grasp of this the happiness, which is actually healing as well, and helping not just self but others and the world. giving contrast to this kind of Ravan's indulgence that can only be happiness in confusion. I had a question that someone else also mentioned. Population has increased, say, since 1974. I believe it's doubled. And what part this plays in the scheme of things. Maybe this will be touched on more in the following sessions.
What is the second part of the question?
The question is what part does the population increase have in what you've just explained?
And the population, on the stage, some different actors come on the stage at different times. So depending upon the plot, they come on the stage. But whether they have come early, they have come late, at the moment, almost everyone is busy in the Ravan's camp. Ravan is there. Ravan is, so some have got more Vinash forces, some have got less Vinash forces. But we are in the Ravan's camp.
That's true. Now, a couple of other questions. We have our basic needs, like we need to drink something. So when do we know it's Ravan and when it's not?
Yeah, sure. And it is good for us to be aware of this. And when we are in this world, and we emphasize these words: guest, trustee, observer. Some of these words we used. He literally takes this caution not to give things to Ravan. One who is aware that it can go in the world of Ravan. So if he is eating food, his attitude is, I am the soul. The invisible soul is giving food to the body as a trustee. What the body needs, he gives. And what body needs, he is aware of it, and that is where he stops. Maybe Ravan wants something else. Yeah, but Ravan wants, but it is not the need of the body. So he is aware to stop when it is not required. If he's sensible, if he really wants to stop Ravan, he will take that caution. The same thing applies to everything. He sees himself as a trustee. In this foreign world, he is not here for the party. He is here for a very clear task. We will discuss in some more detail as we go further, but that attitude, that word helps us. Trustee, a guest, is the observer here.
Maybe one more query here. The blueprint is in the context of the Vinash forces, the destructive forces. Some more clarity on this, if it is possible.
Yeah. Blueprint is, our architect has got a map, on the paper, and then it happens physically. It happens. So that paper tells you how the things will happen, how the building will be, or what the details will be. You see it on the blueprint. So here the blueprint says it may be very positive. Blueprint may be, the deep inside there is complete truth there, and he is in a right posture, no wrong posture, no ignorance. There is soul consciousness, and then there are forces of honor, as we said. We know now. Once you have seen the blueprint, his future is good. Whatever happens, he's very lucky. He will be lucky now and lucky in the future, because the blueprint says things are great. If the blueprint is like this, where there is, different kinds of ego that are getting bigger and bigger, and the Vinash forces also. With them comes Vinash forces. All these bubbles are seen everywhere. If this is what is happening at the blueprint level, it is subtle, but at the same time very obvious. Then no one can change things. People can try. Everyone is trying to make the life better for everyone else. But if the blueprint is not right, then no one can change it. The future is with pain. And this is why, the whole effort to make effort to make the spiritual effort before it is too late. We encourage, if you love anyone, what is the highest thing he can do is to bring about the change at a deep level. All the superficial help, it is not changing the Vinash forces. Nothing wrong with all the help, but once you understand the deeper reasons, some effort has to be made to change the roots of the Vinash forces.
Yeah, thank you. So there aren't any other questions. There aren't any other questions now.
No. So we'll go to the next, our subject of today. And our subject of today is God. But we tried the word God is not compulsory in this. We have seen in the story of Sita, there is Ram. And Ram plays a big part in the life of the Sita. Ram is the friend of Sita. He's a friend, true friend. Forever. He is not a friend of different ego, but he is the friend of Sita. We may have many friends, but all these other friends, they don't even know Sita. They may not even see the Sita. They don't even see the soul. So they end up becoming friends at a drama level. They are friends of the camel. You understand camel? In the drama, someone is acting as a camel, someone is acting as an elephant. So they become friends of the camel and the elephant. They become friends of Cinderella in their confusion. But they are not friends of the invisible actor, because they don't even know that there is this actor behind. Whereas Ram is the friend of the soul, friend of Sita. There are so many ideas around God. Someone told me just in 1 year, last year, there were 16,000 books published on God. So there are so many ideas, all kinds of ideas. And so how to start, where to start? And this is why most people don't even want to hear the word God. If there are 16,000 different ideas on God, then not everyone will be right. It just tells there's some confusion there. So in such the world, how do we start here? And we start by avoiding the word God to begin with. That word God, as was said, is not compulsory. But we know that there is a friend. There is a friend of the Sita. And if we are to use one word, that is very important association with this, and that is the word truth. If someone wants to be a friend, and at this level, then he has to be in truth. Even in religions, when they use the word God, they will associate it with truth. If one is not in truth, how can we use the word God there? No truth is a very different thing than just speaking truth. Okay, someone knows truth. It's a huge thing if someone knows truth. In the present world, where there is such a huge ignorance, everyone has crossed a line, and in such a world, someone knows truth, that changes everything. So if someone knows truth, what will be his thinking, and what will he feel, and what will he experience? It's a game changer, knowing truth. Because the moment you know truth, now you understand that everyone is immortal, everyone is safe. You now know who they are, everyone. You know their home. You know yourselves being safe and secure. You know this reality of the soul. You are seeing this world the right way up. Then you also understand what has happened to the world if they are seeing it upside down. You can understand that also. You can also understand how easy it is to change the quality of life. They just have to see things the right way up. Just like sometimes, children can get into, so they're so upset because of very, very small reason. And parents can see how small the reason is. They are so upset, but the reason is so small. It's so difficult to get across to the children. And they are sort of stubbornly crying, really upset. So here also, when you are seeing this the right way up, you can understand what has gone wrong, and maybe find a way how to get this across to others. One name for God, even in bhakti, is called Parasnath. We spoke of the intellect, Paras, and Nath. Nath is Lord. So he's always Paras. And if someone is always Paras, he sees things very naturally and very, very differently. The whole physical world for him is a great performance. And in the performance, the dragons come, dragons go, villains come, villains go. There may be scene of the flood, and another time fire, and some hero comes, king comes. The whole thing is a amusement. If it's a story, it is an amusement. If it's a drama, it is amusement. There's no reason for sorrow. He knows everyone is safe. It is so obvious and clear to him that everyone is safe and everyone is good. and they have a home. He lives in that awareness and this understanding. His mind remains divine. We can use these words, divine, for this. Nothing demonic. If there is no trace of the demon, if there is no trace of Ravan, it is divine. Which means that you naturally experiences happiness and bliss and contentment and peace. And he knows everyone is lovely. He knows their original nature. So feeling of love and lightness, but all backed by complete wisdom. Paras, he has that full wisdom. Ram is the one who doesn't cross the line. Sita crosses the line. Never crosses the line. And that's why the wisdom is 100%, not compromised. Line is line of ignorance. So all the Sitas cross line at different times, whereas Ram is the one who is forever in wisdom. So if you are in 100% wisdom, then happiness is 100% and love is 100%. He remains the embodiment of this truth. In this model, it is like a Ram and Ravan. They are like the two opposites. Ravan is embodiment of ignorance. He cannot come in truth at all, Ravan. An embodiment of bondage. In that foreign world, he is shamelessly busy collecting things and then identifying these sort of things. This is all mine. He wants to settle down in that foreign world. It creates, he calls it his self-respect, but he is into ego and suffers also, but he never gives up. He wants more. So Ravan is embodiment of that bondage, attachments, embodiment of ignorance. And as a result, suffering, but penalties come. Ram is the embodiment of wisdom, and as a result, embodiment of freedom. He stays 100% free from this. Naturally, he is not making effort for this. He experiences the highest feeling, noble. If Ravan goes into a direction of a victim and a beggar, Ram he stays in that space of noble character, noble personality. Everyone is good, everything is good. So he has never a reason for worry or complaint. There's no reason. With full wisdom, it is not no question and ignore things. He fully knows what is happening, and he has divine personality, divine character. Okay, so here is a being who is so wonderful, nice, and if we use the word Ram or God, okay, he is so wonderful. What has it got to do with me? Why do I need this? My life is going on. Do we need him? What should I be doing? Should I build a temple and worship him? He's so wonderful. So what should I be doing? Then why do I need him?
Good question.
You want to tell? You want to answer?
I don't think we need another temple.
Another religion.
To find our purpose, maybe he's like a mirror to help us on our way. I need Ram to get me off from Ravan's hooks. Like
How?
so could you repeat the original question?
Yeah. So do we need Ram? He's so wonderful, I agree. So do we need him? And if we need him, what should I be doing? Should I be worshipping him? Chant his name?
Preaching. We can't get rid of Ravan without remembering God. And then need is an interesting word. Isn't it like a kind of attachment? And another comment, we are him.
Yeah.
God is our true friend, as you mentioned earlier, friend of the soul. I need Ram to give me power to see the Ravan in me. Very interesting. We need Ram because he's got the spiritual side, Parasnat, is the form of it.
Yeah, excellent. So here in our present situation, we saw our present situation, and if I'm aware of this, where all these ego are dominating mind and life, they rule the life actually, and the soul is not even conscious. So we are understanding the situation, what is happening. There are Vinash forces there. And certainly if someone knows the game and is on the other side, and if I want to get on the other side, then I need him. If that is not my aim, then I don't need it. If I want to achieve state like this, then I need someone who is already there. And he is the one who is already there. But there is no need to worship him, because that is not going to change. I can build temples, it is not going to change the game. To defeat Ravan, we need some strategy to defeat Ravan. And for that, one easy method for us is to understand the value of the company. Company has huge influence. If your children are going to school, you will be interested to know who their friends are. And you should be aware who their friends are, because friends will influence their character and their behavior. And that we pick up the habits and the styles, everything of the company. Sometimes people make effort to get children in a certain school, not because of the teachers, but because of the company, kind of people around in that school. So if I want to bring about this change in me, I will need the company of this Ram, need the company. Company is not necessarily someone sitting next to me. It doesn't necessarily become the company. But if I am aware of the personality, if I know the personality, if I'm impressed with it, if I think of it, that becomes a company. Our mind, if the company is in the mind, that makes a difference. So here we need the company of Ram. If we want to become like that, then we need that company. And in this subject of company, we need to pay attention to 4 areas. We need to know what he knows. Person says he wants to know what he knows, what God knows. I want to think what he thinks. I want to feel what he feels. I want to see what he sees. Try and grasp that perspective. How does he see things? It may be very radical. As was said, here is a story. It is so radical to see everything that is happening in a story. That is a radical way of seeing things. But even for 5 minutes, we have the option to see the way he sees. Like he sees everybody is immortal souls and they're all from the same family. They are my family. Let me try and see it that way. And if we do it, even for say 5 minutes, we said, then what will happen? You will experience what he's experiencing. You will experience during those minutes that attitude of lightness and attitude where there is no reason for sorrow. Freedom from Ravan. We will experience that. Mind free from Ravan. Mind where there is happiness, where there is bliss, where there is contentment, where there is peace, love, lightness. You will see all this feeling. You will get a feel of what that his wisdom is. But the beautiful thing is, all this is happening within you. You are saying, you are just seeing what he sees, but it is happening in your mind. Say if you are watching a film and on the screen there is some scene of violence or something, and or some revenge or some unfairness, and you get anger, it is happening within you. You are feeling what that a character might feel or should feel. You are feeling it inside. It makes the soul impure because you are going through that experience and it will create impression in the soul. It will feed Ravan in some way. The same thing happens here the other way around. You are seeing what God sees and how he feels and what he thinks. And these kind of experiences, they nourish the soul. This becomes stronger. Every second you are experiencing that supreme personality accurately and feeling from there, you are nourishing the soul awareness within you. You are coming closer to this destination. This practice, we call it yoga. Yoga is a word used, and we are all familiar with that word. And the important aspect of the yoga is your mind. With your mind, you are taking the company of God. You are seeing, not in a superficial way. And many others might say God, God, but they think of the statue, they think of the image, they might think of the light, they might think of whatever different way. Or they do prayers and prayers of worship, praising God. But here, there is no need of any of this outer form, but you are grasping the personality. You are going right at the deep end, the essence of who he is, how he sees things, what he knows, what is different than my perspective. So you are seeing what he knows, what he sees, what he thinks, what he feels. You want to add anything? You want to say anything?
A little earlier, when you introduced this idea of need, it raised a question that need appears an interesting word. Isn't that a kind of attachment or dependency, to use the word need?
Yeah. Now here, what is our position with this world? we don't want attachment in the foreign world here. In this world, we don't want attachments. Need is another area, but enough to know that we are extra cautious in the foreign world. But our world here, this is our world. And attachment in that world is there is no problem, because that is our world, eternally going to be with you. So we are happy to say this is my family of souls, and this is my father and my friend, and this is my home. If you are using those words, that is completely okay. Attachments here are okay. In fact, the more we create this relationship with our world, more we become free from the foreign world. That is the way to come out of this. Supports in a foreign land. But need is another area. That was just a language that was used. It was a question. Do we need him? That was just a question.
And when you have a situation, should you think, what would God say I should do, for example?
Yeah. And try and grasp. We are saying Supreme Personality the right way, understanding the personality. Not in a bhakti kind of way, religious way, God will punish someone, not mixing with that personality. That's why we said word God has got so many different ideas. Here we are seeing that Supreme Personality, Supreme Friend of ours, he is soul conscious. We are first grasping that personality, and then it is fine to say in every situation, what would he do? That supreme friend of mine, what would he see here? What would he say here? And what is his perspective here? Try to grasp that.
How can we get to the stage where we can have God's company through this method of the four aspects: know, thinks, feels, sees? How can we have that all the time?
Journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. So we were talking about the homework. Different times we do the homework. We want to keep the mind busy with Ram. We want to keep the time busy with Ram. Otherwise, Ravan will use it. So this is a nice exercise to take these four areas, create this 15 minutes, and try and see what is simple things. What is happening right now? How is God seeing this world? This, what is in front of us? How are we seeing some person walking? How is God seeing that person here? What is his view? What is his perspective? Something false. You hear some news. And, how is God seeing this? You try and grasp his perspective. And that is happening within you. We are talking about the highest, but try and get it right in a clean way, emphasizing it, not to mix it with the other ideas of God that we hear in the world. Here you are understanding God, one who is knowledgeful, one who is the supreme soul. You are seeing his perspective.
Yes, this word supreme soul is nice. On this note, all the words we use have a different meaning in other traditions, and one of the words is yoga. So could you give an accurate definition of the word yoga, or yog as it is?
Yeah, we are using the word Raja Yoga here. And what we are learning all this time, that is Raj Yoga. Raj Yoga has the aspect of knowledge and practices that help us go up the spiral, that takes us up. Both are required. Knowledge is required. So every second you are creating time to be soul conscious. You are Raj Yogi. You are practicing Raj Yoga. You are remembering the home. You are practicing Raj Yoga. Remembering God in this case, as was said, your true friend. You are, if you are going in the upward journey, that is, you are Raj Yogi. It is not the physical posture. That is one that has become more popular use of the word. But the word yoga exists in the Indian subcontinent with a much broader meaning.
Why is their attachment to the world as it is, but below the line of ignorance? Where does it originate?
As we lose the Paras perspective, Paras is like the full, clear perspective. You are understanding the story for what it is. You are in your world. Now, what happens in this world, story world? There's more glitter comes, more gold comes, and the song starts, and the people are loving you. All that is happening, and there is a time when Sita is losing her clarity. Once it starts, then it becomes a slippery slope. That is what we mean by crossing the line. Adam eats the apple at some point.
Drawn into your role, and they love Cinderella, and you also start to get hooked. If we do something wrong, how do we approach this situation? How do we approach God with this situation?
First important is put it right. And what all that God wants is for all the souls to have less sorrow. It is not a problem for him if I go in wrong direction. It is just a problem for me. I will have more vinash forces and more penalties. So we we see him as a symbol of truth, symbol of what is right, and we change the direction. We create a determination in ourselves not to go in the wrong direction. Then he is pleased and everything is good. He's a friend. He is not a punishing God. He is a friend. And in a very noble style, with respect. The game is with respect. We all can do mistakes, but now there is a clarity. A bit like children, they don't know what is right and wrong, so they could be doing anything. But now the clarity comes, and more clarity, you do what is right.
Yeah, we so used to the image of a punishing God, and that it's like he's really truly like a parent to teach, so that the child doesn't hurt itself in a sense. Warring nations use the perspective and their respective scriptures of their God to unleash so much humanity. So much is done in the name of God. Do you have any comments on that?
So what is the Sarah want to answer? Do you want to answer?
Well, as you were saying, this is a different understanding of God that we have. So ego also has his understanding of God with his own selfish intentions. So we can't use the same word in a way.
Yeah,
The
just one word is used. Yeah.
attachment to an idea, then if Ravan is there, he can defend even a holy idea with violence. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, sometimes we use the word Ram of Sita and Ram of Ravan. Ravan also has a Ram, and he is very passionate about Ram and ready to fight a war also. But it is Ram of Ravan. So we want to go to the Ram of Sita.
How to recognize this real Ram?
How to recognize the real Ram?
Yeah, the question, real truth or divinity, but you.
Yeah, then a good question. If there is real Ram, then Ram wants to make you free from Ravan. Ram wants to give you power. If it is the Ram of Ravan, he wants to cooperate with Ravan. And Ravan's whole notion is Ravan wants to be kept safe. So you will see the God is going on, but all the 10 heads of Ravan are still going on, and they are all comfortable, and they're all getting bigger also. So you will see that, then you know that this is not Ram of Sita. This is Ram of Ravan. If there is Ram of Sita, then Ravan will be stopped, and Sita will become free from Ravan.
Can you give examples of how God know what God knows, what He thinks? And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
say a man is walking down the road.
Yeah, so right now, for example, God is, here is one who is Paras. So he understands here is story going, grand performance. And that is, everything is on rails, script is going on. And that is great. What happened yesterday was great, and what happened today is great. There is no thought of complaining about it or worrying about it. But he also knows while the performance is going on, there are these invisible souls, these invisible players. They are like princes, true princes, and they all belong to that same home and same family. He can see that clearly, invisible. They are all immensely lovely and worthy of respect. He sees that. That is most important. It's just like if you go to bring your children from school, there are many things going on in the background, but you see your children, and that is most important to you. There's many things. There's tree and there is the buildings, but your children. So also here, one who is Paras, for him, this family of angelic souls, he sees them. He knows that they are the ones who are associated with this body and the role, and they are immensely lovely and worthy of respect. And they're lucky also. They all belong to the same home and the same family. He knows this. He sees that. That's the most important aspect. He's seeing.
Yeah, very nice. And this can be applied as we do ordinary things, and it would bring divinity into very simple scenes of the drama.
Absolutely. And that is nice. This something very simple can be divinized just by paying attention to this.
He's asking, if I am in the grip of Ravan, in the middle of doing something wrong, which we know is wrong, but we feel out of control to stop it, what can we do in that moment with Ram to put it right?
Yeah. And the game is like this. When there is light, the soul wins. When there is darkness, the devil wins. This environment of darkness helps Ravan. Environment of light helps the angel. So if you feel there is an environment of Ravan is in charge in some situation, just get out of that place. Open your notebooks. Open whatever that you find there useful aspects of knowledge. Read, straight away read those points of knowledge. And write your own notes based on the subject. And you emerge. You will find you literally emerge knowledge, emerge light into you, and you will find game changes straight away. We don't fight the battle in darkness. We want to win over Ravan. We don't just let Ravan do what he likes. We want to win, but game intelligently. We want to win. Create the environment of light, and the environment of light favors the angel.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice. So we could break at some point now, unless there's something you'd like to add.
That's a good time.
So the topic could be, who is God, and how can we take benefit from his presence and existence? We put that in the chat. So who is God? How can we take benefit from his presence or existence? Something to begin the discussion, and we will be meeting back in just over 10 minutes. Thank you. Enjoy. Warm welcome back, and well done for managing the game of suddenly, because today with a different device, the setting was 10 seconds rather than the 1 minute. So apologies for those who are just in the middle of their sharing, and you are very welcome to finish the point in the chat. But I do hope you managed to express some thoughts. Let's create a moment together of this experience of Sita and Ram. Thank you. Thank you. Just want to share my own experience that when I came to these ideas and I was in the Far East, it helped to be in an environment where spirituality was more, in the culture. But at the same time, when I heard the word God mentioned, something inside was disappointed because I didn't think that I was looking for that. It was associated with Christian, perhaps I'd never felt connected to religion that I'd been brought up with, but somehow I stayed and sensed something that felt right. But on understanding the context, and this deeply resonated with the perspective of that supreme friend, it was maybe a different word is certainly helpful for me. Then the experience, it's not about worship, it's not about subversion. And in the name of God, as was said, so many things can be done. But if we can see that it's not about, proximity, but it's what's happening in the mind, so much more practical. So I'd like to welcome Prashant back, and happy to hear any further thoughts from you also.
Thank you. Welcome to the board. It's such a nice exercise for us to grapple that perspective, and that is the most important. Everything else, knowing God and relationship and a friend, but aim is we become like Him, and we discover our nature like Him. It is nicely described in sometimes in different religions also, that we are made in the image of God. In other words, Sita is like Ram. It is not ego to say that, but if it is coming from the right space, it is positive. awake Sita, the soul that is conscious, he understands. He is from the same home, same family. There's self-respect. It is not he's not talking about a camel and elephant, not in the drama. Prashant is a part in the drama, but behind this Prashant is the invisible actor, and he is from the family of God. And then many things become easy to understand his personality and to say, there is no reason I should be very different. You are gradually learning how to remove the Ravan's personality. We don't need that. It appears all human, but it is not human. We say it is demonic and become free from that. One big jump that is necessary in this game is to understand everything of ours is subtle. We can't have that position of gross. That it is not a game of making Prashant spiritual. That is not the game. Ravan wants to make Prashant spiritual. But here you are understanding the game is to step behind this role, behind the gross. And you are subtle. Everything of ours is subtle, extremely subtle and refined. It is also eternal and it is also divine. But jump from the gross to the subtle has to be taken. And getting used to that, we all got this intellect. Paras has the important element of Paras is to grasp subtlety. And more we use it, it will become easier. First day it will not be. So there is no need to feel disheartened about this. But more you play with it, it will continue to become natural. That right now here Prashant is talking, but real, when we say invisible observer, is completely separate to this role. And he is associated with the role to play with that. And Supreme Father is 100% in that. It is natural for him. Subtle reality is natural. He knows that in an obvious way. And that's why Parasnath. And we need to build muscles. So coming back to this sketch, and just we spoke about taking company, seeing what he sees, knowing what he knows, and feeling what he feels, thinking what he thinks. Now, this game becomes easy when we are somewhere like him. Some change has to happen within us. Sometimes give an example. Say if there is a great mathematician in your town, who will recognize that great mathematician? There are many people around and they all know him, but who will recognize the great mathematician? You want to answer?
A student of maths,
Yeah.
the one that values and understands maths.
In other words, another mathematician. One needs to know some mathematics at least to understand a great mathematician. Someone who doesn't understand mathematics at all, they will not appreciate. If there is a great musician, you need another musician to appreciate a great musician. Others don't notice the subtlety behind all this. So here there is God, but someone who is 100% patthar, it is nothing for him. He won't observe anything. He won't know anything. He will go past it. That's why our practice, we have to start with the invisible traveler. We mentioned very first day, the exercise. 1 minute, 4 minutes, where you are coming to experience the invisible traveler. And discovering that those feelings of paras, discovering those experiences of the soul, what it is like to be free from the Ravan's feelings and Ravan's confusion. You may get glimpses of it, but that is the beginning. Once you have experienced it, then you understand, okay, someone who is always in this state and who has made it natural, what he experiences, what he feels. And you are able to understand the Supreme Personality. Just like you need to be a mathematician to appreciate a great mathematician, you need to be a musician to appreciate a great musician, you need to be soul conscious. You need to be a little bit of paras at least to appreciate parasnath. And then it becomes a nice combination. You are understanding, who your greatness, that helps you understand his greatness. That helps you in turn to appreciate the depth of your own greatness. It becomes like a nice positive spiral. in some poetic way, in a nice description of God is done with the language of zero. In some languages and some cultures, God is described as zero. Even Shiva, that is one name used for God. When one translation of Shiva is zero or a point. It has got other meanings. Another word used is Shambho, again with the etymologically zero. He, why? In what way he is zero? He owns nothing. So he loses nothing. He needs nothing. He lacks nothing. In the context of the story, it is zero. He he doesn't identify with anything, identifies with nothing. He sees himself, yet in the context of the drama, zero. But what happens as a result? He is able to experience the sky. He becomes free from all the strings in this foreign world, and he experiences himself, the ocean. He discovers his own greatness. He discovers the wonder of the sky because there are no strings. Slightly different to the personality of human beings at the present time. Human beings, they don't want to be zero. Everyone wants to be somebody. They want to be seen as big. They want to own more and more. They say it is success. and their needs and greed, there is no border. They don't know where the needs end, and they lack so many things, so they want to fill it up, and they identify with the whole world of the story, identify with anything different. For Patthar, that becomes like a success. And in that context, here is a mirror for us, where he is like us, as was said. There's no difference between everyone else and God, but just the perspective is different. He sees that he is not from here, and he doesn't want to own anything. Even if others say this is all you are, he doesn't want to own anything here, and doesn't want to get trapped in this. Doesn't create entitlement to anything. And we this is a mirror for us, and to see, am I also, do I like this word zero in this foreign world? And if I am coming closer to zero, it is good news, because those who are zero, they are the ones who experience the sky, and they experience the personality of God. They will experience the ocean. They become free from that inner alloy that is in the soul, that purifies them. Excellent. We'll create some time for practice also, but at the moment, any comments or questions?
Yeah, it's a beautiful description. There's a query. So are you saying God is void or nothingness if he's zero?
And as we were saying before, in the context of the story, he is zero. Just like you go to someone's house, you know that you don't own anything there. Doesn't mean you are void, or you are, no. In the context of that place, he knows he doesn't own anything, but we know that he's just like everyone else. He is a soul, and so also everyone else. Just that he is the one, that is clarity, that he is just passing through this, and doesn't want to get deceived.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
as we are seeing this, to know that same thing applies to us. If I am having different attitude, it is just my confusion.
Thank you. They've since said that this wasn't a question, it was more a statement, but maybe it's useful to hear the view based upon what's been shared, more like a real personality. You've answered this in a way, but I will repeat in case there's something you want to add. In the beginning, we should start by creating thoughts while using Paris intellect. Is this what will help?
Yeah, Paras is a very good start. Various things we said, worth revising also, but yeah, Paras is a beautiful start.
He's asking, is it possible to explain to someone who's not following these ideas that this really is accurate understanding of God as they feel? Are there words? I hear you're explaining about Paris. Is this the path to understanding?
Yeah, we have to start. trial and error. People are different, personalities are different, the blocks are different. You learn.
I feel the question is kind of, how if you feel you found something of value, you want to share it, but it's just that, as you said, there are many thousands of ideas, but perhaps this doesn't need to be proved in that way. It's not a mission in that sense. But you're saying through understanding, it's not something that needs a preaching approach. Yeah. What's the best way to check oneself?
The experiment with perfection. Even for 1 minute, go for that. 100% paras, 100% soul consciousness, 100% truth, just for 1 minute. And you see the mirror. And that helps you to see anything, what else needs to change.
Maybe we can create time for that now. There aren't any other queries.
Yeah.
Thank
you. So very, very simple, as we discussed. We are using the best sight, best intellect. And one thing that happens instantly, we are seeing the physical world for what it is. And we are able to see the world beyond the story world. Beyond the story world, there is the true family and the true father, true home. This whole dimension is extremely subtle and refined. Everyone is invisible but real. They all are immortal. All are divine. They are free from Ravan. Starting position is this. They need nothing and they lack nothing. They all are from the family of God, worthy of greatest respect. All and always. All we have done is use the best sight, best intellect, and we are discovering this dimension like a biggest lottery. World of God and world with God. This environment helps the true self to become conscious. And for the true self, it is normal to be like a tiny living star. It is normal to be subtle, normal to be immortal, normal to be from that sky, normal to belong to this great family, noble family of souls. Normal to be so independent from the story. Aware of the story there, but invisible traveler understands he is independent from that story, separate. He finds it strange to mix his life with the story. Finds it normal to be free from ego based on the story, free from bondages in the story. It is a story, it is a separate world. He finds it normal to accept the story, the past and the present. He finds it normal to belong to the family of God and to be worthy to be loved by God. It's from that family. So it is a completely new start. He understands his true self. It is a new beginning. Always been worthy. Now he is waking up to realize this. He also knows everyone is worthy and everyone is lucky. That all are subtle and all are immortal. As he continues on the journey, he remembers the extraordinary truth of everyone. Great news. All that has happened, we are seeing the same world the right way up. Instead of upside down, we are seeing it the right way up. We aim to stay right way up as we go further. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think this is the homework, to stay right way up. So this isn't an end, it is a beginning of the practice. And also there is a follow-up, Sanjeevani, which will be a week today, same timings, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some of aspects that were touched on will be taken a little further. And we will be finishing shortly with a new song, which is an experience of these ideas. If there's anything you wanted to add, otherwise we will be in touch. We'll be sending this information also by email, and want to extend a huge gratitude to the translators who are incognito running next to the speakers to communicate Turkish, West Balkans. So wonderful. And thanks to all of you for your sharing, your presence and your commitment, because this creates a huge momentum for all of us here. So that's a big thanks. Thanks to Prashant, of course. Prashant, anything you would like to add before we finish?
Enjoy the journey and enjoy the sky. Keep flying. Meet next week.
Thank you so much.
This song is together by the team here.
We're not just bodies
With the
playing
AI,
our
help of
part
AI.
in this earthly drama, blind to depart. But deep inside there's a truth we can see. It is not our world for eternity. The silence calls, it's the world we belong, a realm of peace where we are strong. Awaken now to the world of the soul. This earth is a This world of illusion, so loud and so bright, is not our home, it's not our light. We are the essence beyond all form. Knowing the soul world, we are transformed. The Father of peace, He calls us near. In His silence, there's nothing to fear. Awaken now to the world of the soul. This earth is a shadow, the true world's whole. Beyond the noise, beyond the race, there's a silent world, a sacred space. We are eternal, pure and free. The riches of the soul world we truly see. The Father supreme, the ocean of light. In the soul world we find our sight. Pure and peaceful beyond the sky. In His embrace we rise, we fly. No harm can touch, no pain can stay. To the soul world we find our way. Awaken now to the world of the soul. This earth is a shadow, the true world's whole. Beyond the noise, beyond the race, there's a silent world, a sacred space. We are eternal, pure and free. The riches of the soul world we truly see.
Thank you. Keep flying. See you soon.